Greetings, Geeksters and Jake. Welcome to episode 384 of Geeks in Space. I'm turning off the intro slide and saying hello to my friends.
If you call us Geeksters again...
Yeah.
Geeksters.
Don't do that.
I mean, nerd.
I actually really like the idea of referring to us as Jakesters. Like we're the Jakesketeers.
Oh, no. Let's just not. Because, Jake is actually a very popular vlogger. He's the Bright Sun guy. And he was, hello, guys, I'm Jake, or whatever. And so
None of that is true.
It's all true. I would never lie to you, my Geekster friends.
Geeksters. Okay, we're behind on a couple of things that happened like at the end of last week that we didn't mention. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is back in the MCU.
Yeah, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Everyone just finally agreed on what pile of money they wanted.
Okay. All right. So okay.
It was brinksmanship bargaining on the part of somebody.
That's what they say, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's also, this is one of those things where it's like, let's all talk about the exciting contract negotiations between Sony and Disney.
Yeah. And the related story is that Kevin Feige is getting a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
I don't know. He couldn't screw it up any worse than anybody else.
You be careful, friend.
I feel like everyone is going to get a Star Wars movie. Martin Scorsese Star Wars movie will come out.
Michael Bay.
Gilbert.
No dialogue at all. Just explosion after explosion.
We blew
ever since I was born. I knew I wanted to be a
Death Stars. This movie.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a Michael Bay, but with Philip Glass doing the soundtrack. I think that
didn't Philip Glass do the original Blade Runner? No, it was Vangelis. Yeah,
Vangelis and
that's a little different.
Glass are not the same thing.
Well,
Philip. Hey, look at that!
Wow, that's great.
That's a telemarketer.
You know what? I love the idea of Scorsese doing it. It's like, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a Jedi.
I have a documentary on Francis Ford Coppola that I have kind of been sitting back and waiting to watch for my old 70s directors who haven't really done anything since then. And then I'm kind of looking forward to that.
The Island of Dr. Moreau was an obvious creative mess. I can't sustain that. That was awful.
Val Kilmer.
Did you see the documentary about that?
What's that?
What they made a documentary about the making of the Island of Dr. Moreau?
Yeah, and it's insane. Like, you have no idea how crazy messed up the production of that movie was. And it's really good. You should watch it. It's 1,000 times better than the movie.
The actual movie.
Yeah. And it's actually a really interesting story on how you make a movie and how making movies go terribly wrong and all the egos involved and everything. It's really worth watching.
Huh.
I'm trying to, if somebody should look up the name. It's the writer is insane. The director is insane. Val Kilmer is insane. Marlon Brando is insane. And they're
like shooting rocker.
Yeah, and they're shooting it in Australia, and like there's like tornadoes destroying, there's hurricanes destroying their sets, and like everybody's like getting kicked off the set. Like, and
Steve Irwin was getting handsy.
Well, the director gets kicked out like a week or two into production, and then he sneaks back on set like in costume, like he's wearing costumes like the animal monsters. You gotta watch this thing. It's crazy.
So wow. All right, I'll watch that.
It's really worth
back on set in the Island of Dr. Moreau costumes. That is the level of insanity I want.
Well, and they were worried that he was going to sabotage the movie, so there were all these like warnings, like don't be talking to this guy. And like one of the actresses is like, she runs away and they have to bring her back from the airport because she's like, this movie is garbage and I don't want to be in it anymore. And her agents are like, no, you have to go back or you'll never get a job again. It's crazy.
Who was the woman?
I don't even know. You're gonna have to look it up.
Was the woman Ron Perlman?
Firuza Balk. It was definitely Firuza Balk.
No, it's a good one.
No, it was definitely Firuza Balk. I mean, there's no way it was any other woman on the set because she's just probably like, I've been in good things. This is not a good thing.
I know what a good thing is, and it's not this.
Yeah.
All right. Huh.
All right, so I have a couple of more serious stories.
I can't believe that I'm going to watch a documentary about the making of The Island of Dr. Moreau.
It's worth it. And you know me, I will watch a documentary about virtually anything. Yeah. And documentaries about things that have gone terribly wrong are better. That's just it's just a train wreck. It's really great. I highly recommend that one. Actually, Rob, I did watch Between Two Ferns this morning. I don't know if you've seen it yet. We talked about it a few weeks ago.
I have not.
I got about halfway through it so far. So
it's okay.
Is it?
I decided I'm not going to watch it based on the reviews sound not good.
Well, I mean, it's a movie based on a comedy sketch that lasts no more than 3 to 5 minutes, right? So,
yes, that is part of why I'm like, yeah, that entire premise seems.
That's going to be some heavy lifting.
It's pretty effing thin from what I saw. You know, it's like, and I got to the point where I was giving it like half my attention because that's all it really deserved. You know,
that's true
it's
about
like,
80% of movies.
Wacky scene with a fern in a car as they're driving, and I don't care. I just don't care.
Well, so. I enjoyed when they're actually doing Between Two Ferns sketches. Those are quite funny. The movie that's tying it together has a good running gag, but for the most part, it's not that great. Peter Dinklage's scene is pretty funny.
I think I've gotten to that yet.
It's pretty funny. It's the funniest of the sequences that is not like him making fun of Alison Brie or Paul Rudd, because they're very funny. So, I mean, Zuck leaked some audio.
No. The way we were going to present that is started podcasting.
Oh, he's rivaling us. He wants in on this sweet.
He wants in on this sweet
space gravy train.
Yeah, you know, he wants Jake.
Yeah,
Jake, do not. I know that Zuck is a seductive mistress.
Very seductive.
But you stay with us. You want to be a geekster.
Yeah. Zuck better leave his hands off of Jake. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, you know, it's GIS, so a geyser. No.
Jister?
If he thinks Elizabeth Warren is going to be his worst nightmare, just let him try to take Jake from us.
No, it's funny because you put it up on Taco Zone as Zuck does something boring. I was like, all right,
Well, I mean, okay, if you read it, there is literally nothing in there that he says that any of us would not say, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he literally just states all things about Facebook that everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things that I was like, it's a bit much, but the rest is like, of course they're going to fight a breakup. Of course they're going to break it up. Here, let me load the story, the podcast transcript.
The teaser trailer.
The teaser trailer for the podcast transcript. And also the way The Verge presented it was very dramatic. Like,
that was the worst presentation. It makes me so angry that like websites do this now. Like, let's make you step through a friggin' slideshow to click on audio samples, and like you can't scroll normally. It's like the worst of like early 2000s web design. It's like you haven't figured out how to make a proper you know what? We figured out how to read pages. It's called a page, and then you read it and flip. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, so the first thing that jumped out at me is he made a show of all the Facebook, Google, and Amazon working together to make election interference less likely. And I'm like, Facebook doesn't work with people. And then he started talking about basically slagging on Twitter, and I'm like, why is he worried about Twitter? Is he jealous of Twitter? Is he jealous of Donald Trump on Twitter? I think he's a little jealous, So
aren't we all? If I could tweet Kofifi and have an entire news cycle dedicated to the fact that I wrote the word Kofifi in my Twitter feed, that would be. I mean, I'm jealous of that. I won't lie.
Well,
okay. Have you considered running for high office?
We don't get political. We don't get political a whole lot. But for me, the best was this weekend when it came out that he retweeted a bot that takes headlines about him and replaces the word shark inside the headline. So he retweeted SharkBot because it just happened to pull a headline that was good for him. I thought, wow. There it
And
is.
I
He
have
must spend a
family
lot of
members.
time on the can. That's all I gotta say.
I have family members that would be like, "Oh no, it doesn't matter that it was a bot. It speaks the truth."
Yeah. And replaces every fourth noun with the word shark. Like a Mad Lib.
In all fairness, Shark does that
A
too.
truth
Shark.
Mad Lib. A truth lib.
But all smelly sharks are on the toilet.
My other weird internet thing with a world leader lately was Boris Johnson. The Oliver, who's the dude? Oliver Jones?
Jamie Oliver.
No, John Oliver. There we go.
Yeah.
That one. He did a bit
Olivia Newton-John.
He did a bit on this a while ago, how Boris Johnson will say words in order to change search results. And he talked about his model bus collection and how he collects model buses to get out of the news the fact that he put blatantly false advertising on the sides of buses. And so now when you search for Boris Johnson and bus, you get him talking about his bus.
And that he had an affair with a model. So he would use the word model a lot.
I mean, it's kind of amazing.
Yep, that's the
really. I want this to be the model legislation for all Jennifers in the world.
So Boris Johnson is just like a human
Jessica.
SEO engine? Is
kind of.
Yes.
All right.
And this is why people are like, "Oh, Boris Johnson's just as dumb as Trump," and I'm like, I gotta
No.
tell you, every once in a while he does something this, you're like, "Oh,
No,
that's really
like
sharp."
ultimately he's like the opposite world Spider Jerusalem in that respect. Is that he's gaming the system. He's just malevolent.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of admire it, strangely, but
all things British is just a little more clever. So their Trump is just a little bit smarter than ours. That's all it is. Hair's the same. A lot of beliefs are the same. It's just a little more clever.
I love that Boris specifically messes his hair up before he goes. He's like, "Hey, everybody, I'm wacky."
Chris, your gravity generator is out of whack. You're gonna need to adjust.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Right.
I'm on the ground, not far from Kennedy. I'll be coming back up. Do you guys need anything?
Yeah.
From KSC?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you find me
a
some
bucket of chicken?
Can you find me a cool piece of wood from something? Turn into pens?
Yeah, I can totally do that. Are you kidding?
All right, sweet.
We're getting dangerously low on space ice cream. So
Yeah.
Space ice cream.
Dehydrated ice cream.
Maybe I'll just get you some chalk from the local school, and that'd be fun.
You still haven't brought me the cube of Tang that I wanted. So
we have pouches now. We're not just using cubes anymore.
You mean like fanny packs?
No,
Full of Tang.
Full of Tang.
I kind of believe that NASA invented those beer helmets. Like they're probably the originators of the beer hat, and that was just so they could drink their Tang.
Yeah,
and people say that space is a waste of time and money, but we got beer hats out of it.
We did.
Right. We also got that apocryphal story about how the Russians use a pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually true, though.
And a Velcro.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, I think that the apocryphal story was disproven ultimately.
And also they showed that the graphite would interact with the switches in the Soyuz. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, it's one of those stories, right? It's been told and retold so many times that
it's just too good to check,
Yeah, like the whole, what was the thing people were passing around? We're X thing again, which is partially true, but
going back to the Romans or whatever.
It's like, I know you all would like to believe that, but no, it's not as simple as that. And it turns out,
well, a lot of people think that toothbrushes came from the. No, I'm just. This is some Malcolm Gladwell crap right here. Malcolm Gladwell is a horrible man who writes horrible things.
I had tweeted about this like a week ago that I'm glad I've lived long enough to be able to see when the world finally turned on Malcolm Gladwell and we're like, wait a minute,
You're full of crud.
idiot. Yeah. Also, Malcolm Gladwell wants to get Jake, I heard.
Jake,
So-
you're not taking that from him.
You want some of that hot Jake money?
No, he's going for, you don't want the Zuck money. You want to stay here so that you can get a pen.
Not. Can we refer to your pens as Jake Bucks from now on?
Jake
Bucks.
Space Pens.
Jake Space Pens, guaranteed to maybe work in low Earth orbit.
Well, they clearly need to send you so they can test the science of it.
That's right. I need to go up.
Yeah.
It's about time.
You don't need to go to GEO. You don't need to go to lunar transfer orbit. You just have to go to low Earth orbit. You know, your standards are low. That's
Right.
fine.
Practically do that just on one of those big jets.
Yeah, just
Right.
hop on the Vomit Comet and
That doesn't go that high. You know, it goes.
Well,
like
I know,
that.
but he could experience weightlessness with his pen.
I could test my pen.
Whatever. We'll
Dude,
just tell Rob.
I'm trying to help him go to
space.
space.
Shh. We'll just tell him
Dude,
he did.
don't ruin it.
Just tell me I was already there and I forgot. I might
Yeah.
believe you.
No, we're there now.
That's right. Wink, wink. Rob, I put up a story for you. Did you see the lady who died and they found a head in her freezer?
Yes. Well, it was a whole.
What was it? A skull?
No, it was
or
a
a
whole
head?
baby.
It was her baby. Well, it's the head too, but
Oh, that's awful.
yeah.
What?
Because when my neighbor lady, when she died, and her cousins, did I tell you about this? Her cousins came to clear out her spot. She's kind of a hoarder, and she ran the local theater company. And so they found a skull that she'd been using for, Iago or whatever. And so I came over and she hands me this box and the box says human skull. And I'm like, what's in it? She's like, open it up. I opened it up. It was a human skull. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. Thanks. So I told the story to a friend of mine. He's like, the way you should have responded is, no, I've already got one. Thanks.
Ooh. Technically true.
Yeah.
The other depressing piece of the internet, it's a depressing story connected to the internet. So a Hong Kong police officer shot a protester in the chest with a live bullet, thus escalating what has been a pretty terrible few months over in the Hong Kong. But within minutes, every story that is on the internet about this event is being flooded with AstroTurf posts.
Oh, yeah?
Written in bad English that is like pro police officer. And the thing that even scared me the most, or it shouldn't surprise me, but it totally did. There were stories that were posting about this on Reddit. So somebody's sorting Reddit on new, and they were downvoting stories on Reddit. So that's how far advanced the Beijing troll army is at. They're browsing Reddit.
I did that part in the new Stevenson book. I forget what they call the plan in it, but to destroy any and all, basically to have there be so much astroturfing that no one trusts any sort of user-generated content, like just ruin it.
Yeah.
So that it just becomes noise that everyone does not pay any attention to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. That happened.
Wow, that's really far-fetched.
Yeah.
I mean, that certainly isn't happening already. Where does he come up with these ideas?
I know.
Well, he wrote it up pretty good, but even in the way he wrote it up, it was like, it's a kind of a stretch. People aren't going to volunteer themselves to be trashed this much.
Oh, to be completely annihilated. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel
Yep.
watched
No one's got that
the
thick.
climate change denials sort of happened in the 90s, where it was really weaponized. Like you could pretty well see, somebody eventually is going to figure out how to do this for everything, and now nothing will matter, no matter what, ever again.
Well, I mean, it's trite to say it, but we've seen the rise of a very anti-science part of our society, and these anti-vaxxers and these, Gwyneth Paltrow goopers and, the Alex Jonesies. It's like, there is a subset of society that have been completely enabled by, bad actors.
I
who
have
just want to make money off them.
I have been in low Earth orbit now for 384 episodes of Geeks in Space, and I still believe the Earth is flat.
I don't believe you.
I think it's interesting that you have moved away from using hours, and now you just state things in Geeks in Space episodes as your primary unit of time.
Well, when the recording stops, I go back into my hyperbolic chamber and then thaw out.
Hyperbolic. It's not hyperbolic. It's hyperbaric. Although if you are in low Earth orbit, it's a hyperbolic orbit, maybe. Or maybe you mean hypergolic. Maybe you're filled with like ethyl glycol or something.
No, Rob Mulder clearly goes into a hyperbolic chamber.
All of these things are true because nothing matters anymore.
So I'm not far from Disney, so there's a hyperbaric chamber somewhere, right? So yeah,
it's true. It's next to the head.
No, the head freezer's in Arizona. That's where the Alcor offices are.
I assume that they keep his heads and body in separate facilities. You want to distribute that? You don't want to have a single place to store.
We have a cryogenic place not too far from here, actually, like a hour and a half drive. Yeah.
Well, is it just a normal medical cryogenics place, or is it actually like a freeze your head place?
No, it's the Cryonic Institute. It's actually bigger than we're now. It was it was there. It's run now by the son of the man who started the X movement. And they got when I was there, they had, I think, 24 people there in various states of,
wow, it's in Clinton
bodiedness.
Township. Weird.
Yeah.
It's legit, yo.
I didn't expect that. Yeah, because I never thought it made any sense for Alcor to be in freaking Arizona or New Mexico. It's like, let's find the hottest place to have very cold heads, And intellectually, I know what I'm saying is wrong because the delta between the temperature of the heads and Clinton Township versus the delta in Arizona, it's just not that big of a deal. I mean,
in all fairness, though, maybe that lady who was keeping that baby in her freezer was just planning on thawing it out at the Cryogenic Institute.
Oh, this is grim.
That isn't how. I can see why you're in a hyperbolic chamber if that's how you think cryogenics work, buddy.
It's true. It's so comfy in here.
So I'm looking at the thing in Street View. So I've got the Cryonics Institute, Erfurt Runkel building, and then next door is KVM Door Systems, people who make doors that open and close, right? And I'm like, imagine being the neighbor of the Cryonics Institute. People go to the wrong building. Hey, I'm looking for a door. Nope, we're the frozen head place. Where they go to the door place. Cool hey, where do I put my head? And they're like, will you go next door?
I thought it was really cool when we had an office that was in between the kids' ninja studio and the distillery. But that's nothing compared to the office.
Drunken Master.
You're forgetting the flooring place that was also in there as well.
Yeah, but they weren't flooring isn't nearly as impressive as Tiny Drunk Ninjas.
It was just a children's karate studio. It was not a ninja school. There were no eggshell grenades.
Despite how many shurikens we leave in front of the place,
I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
And 40s of culture.
So basically, I'm surfing around the neighborhood to see who has to be neighbors at the Cryonics Institute. This is very entertaining.
I bet that we could get you a visit out there. You could tell them that.
Oh no, totally.
A reporter.
You know the story of me and Alcor, right? A good friend of mine died, and he was an Alcor member, so I called him up and I was like, "Hey, you should go. You should know he's missing." And then after they collected him, they called me back and they were like, thanks for letting us know. Do you need a discount or anything? Because we couldn't give him the whole body treatment, but we got his head. So and I'm like, okay. You know?
Nice.
We give you 80% off because we didn't have to freeze this whole body.
Well, now it was gonna be like 20% off, but
It seems like a ripoff.
And
I don't know, man. It seems nice. You know, I thought it was really cool of them to offer. You know, they're like they appreciated it.
I'll also have you know that the Cryogenics Institute, they have pets frozen there. They were talking about how they're transitioning some of their business over into pets now. So there you go.
People love their pets, man. They don't want to, you know, reach, you know, the year 25 without, you know, Mr. Wrinkles.
Without mittens.
I wonder how much it would cost if I wanted to have the Cryogenics Institute build me a pyramid tomb and then have them set up like all my pets in like the cryonics along each step along the way. Like,
I think you'd have to outsource the pyramid. They're mostly about freezing stuff.
Yeah, although I wonder if they have like a little freezer for pet heads, you know, like little canopic jars for them. You know? Actually,
the containers that they had, they put people in head down, so that the most important part stays frozen in case there's a leak or something like that. But they have each of their tanks, I think, held 12 people, and then they had a separate
12 heads or 12 people. Wow, that must have been huge. All head down?
Gigantic. Yeah.
Or could you like order like the lowest level if you have more money? You know?
Or they just lay you flat in the bottom of it. I got the idea
like a layer cake,
that space was at a premium. So
I wonder, I kind of want to start a cryogenics company called Lich Corp. I think
Lich Corp?
Yeah.
Lich Necrocryonics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I vote that Rob gets to become the Lich King.
The last time I played Dungeons and Dragons, an Archlich, revived me as a Mimir. So that I am on board with this plan.
All right, then. I'm going to say goodbye now because we've spent probably 12 minutes talking about frozen corpses.
This is a fine use of time.
I like it.
I mean, do we really want to talk about Kevin Feige taking over Star Wars after what he did to Daredevil? And I don't mean the TV Daredevil, which was great, but the other one. Just saying.
Just saying. In all fairness, though, Jon Favreau was a part of that train wreck, too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and yet, they saved Marvel, you know?
Well, Jake, thanks for listening. We appreciate it.
And if Elizabeth Warren calls you, don't answer.
Yeah, right? She wants you on her podcast.
Yep. Stay away from Zuck. He doesn't love you like we love you. Thanks to Rob.
Yeah.
Did
you think yourself?
I'm
Rob
Chris, man.
I didn't RobJeff. Chris Rob. I just typed everybody's names into the document to know who was
Also, were you the first Rob or was I the first Rob?
You're
always really
Rob in my heart.
Well, but if you're doing it in order of screen, Rob, Jeff, Rob.
Yeah.
I mean, you do you, man.
Sorry.
Well, this was episode 384 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda. Thanks to Rob, Chris, and Jeff. And we will gather up again on Thursday for all the Robs and all the Jakes. Bye-bye.